Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to dive into a tough one today?
Definitely. Always up for a challenge, especially when it can help make a difference.
I like your attitude, and it's definitely needed because we're tackling school bullying.
Ugh, yeah. It's one of those things that never seems to go away completely, does it?
Sadly, no. But we can at least equip ourselves and the people who care about kids to handle it as best as possible, right?
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, as they say.
100%. So we found this awesome list of practical tips, and we're going to break those down.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. The first one kind of jumped out as deceptively simple. Listen and believe. Like, okay, sure, but what's the big deal?
Oh, man. Where do I even start with that one? See, here's the thing. Bullying, it's not just kids being kids,
Oh, for sure not.
It cuts deep. Emotionally, I mean.
Yeah.
Think about it. You're constantly feeling small, afraid, maybe. Having an adult actually believe you, not just dismiss it. That's huge.
Yeah, it's like you're saying, I see your pain, this is real, not, oh, kids will be kids, right?
Exactly. Validation. Because when a kid feels truly heard, that's when they can start to heal. And it actually opens the door for, well, it's funny how these tips connect. It leads right into the next one.
Let me guess. Open communication.
Bingo. You got it.
I mean, it makes sense, but creating that safe space for a kid to open up, honestly, that feels way easier said than done. Any pointers from the expert?
Well, for starters, think about the way you phrase things. Open-ended questions are your best friend here.
Okay, so instead of like, did someone be mean today? It's more like,
More like, what happened at school today? Or how are things with so-and-so? See, it invites them to share more.
subtle but powerful.
And here's where it gets even trickier. We got to really listen. I mean, really, really listen. Even if whatever they're upset about seems kind of small to us grown-up folks.
Because to them, it's their whole world.
Exactly. Validation, remember. It's key at every stage.
Totally. Okay, so this next tip threw me for a loop. Teach assertiveness. I immediately pictured karate lessons, which, don't get me wrong, could be cool, but probably not the main idea here.
You're not wrong to think about self-defense. But in this case, it's more about equipping them with the tools to handle those tough situations.
So what, like verbal judo?
Huh? In a way. Think confident body language, teaching them how to respond calmly but firmly, and most importantly, knowing when to walk away and get help from a trusted adult.
Ah, okay, so setting boundaries. I love that. And that actually segues perfectly into the next tip on the list, which is involve the school. But how do we do that effectively? I can see it going sideways and just becoming another thing to stress about.
I hear you. And you're right, it's a delicate dance. But first things first, documentation is key. Dates, times, witnesses, keep a record.
Like a paper trail.
Exactly. It's super helpful when you're trying to explain the situation. And start with the teacher. They're usually your first line of contact. If things don't budge, then, by all means, reach out to the principal, the counselor, whoever's appropriate.
So true.
Remember, you're all on the same team, and the goal is the same, the well-being of the child.
Working together, not against each other. Love it. Okay, last but not least, and this one really resonates with me. Build their confidence. Can we actually build that intentionally, though? Especially when a kid's been through the ringer with bullying?
Absolutely. Remember how we talked about the emotional toll bullying takes?
Yeah, it can really chip away at a kid's self-esteem.
Exactly. So we need to help them reconnect with their strengths, their passions, encourage activities where they shine, whether it's sports, art, music, anything that lets them see their own awesomeness.
Right. So it's about shifting that focus, reminding them they're capable and valuable, regardless of what the bully tries to say or do.
Nailed it. It's not a magic overnight fix. Takes time and consistency, but it's so worth it.
These tips seem pretty straightforward at first, but hearing you break it down, there's so much nuance to each one, isn't there? It's like you need the practical steps and the emotional intelligence behind them to make a real impact.
100%.
It really gets you thinking. Like, beyond these immediate actions, what's at the root of bullying? How can we, as a society, create environments where it's less likely to take hold in the first place? That's a big question, a really, really big question. But those are often the ones worth wrestling with, don't you think?
Couldn't agree more.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive, but as always, keep those brains buzzing. We'll catch you next time.